Continuing coverage of the funding fight in Congress. The federal government just a short time away now from a partial shutdown after a last-ditch effort to stop it fell short tonight. Erica Brown is in Washington, D.C. now, sharing the impact the shutdown will have.
On this vote, the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45.
A government shutdown is set to take effect after the Senate failed to pass a short-term spending bill. Republicans pushed for a measure that extends federal funding at its current levels until mid-November. But Democrats demanded the bill include an extension of Affordable Care Act benefits expiring this year and reverse cuts to Medicaid.
Senate Democrats said no. Why? Because far-left interest groups and far-left Democrat members wanted a showdown with the president.
We need to deal with this health care crisis now, not later. But the Republican bill fails to do that.
President Trump weighed in before the vote Tuesday afternoon.
A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
Furloughs and potential layoffs will halt some government operations, but benefits like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security will continue, although there could be delays. The FDA, USDA, and CDC will continue running in a limited capacity, and essential workers like U.S. military, TSA workers, and air traffic controllers must continue to work without pay. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders issuing a memo to her cabinet secretaries today instructing them on protocols when a shutdown does happen. She said the secretaries will work with the Department of Finance and shared admin services to determine which programs must be suspended and which employees will be furloughed. It'll be based on several criteria. One, a program will remain if it has been identified by the federal government as necessary, or the feds have said funding will be guaranteed during the shutdown. Or a program can remain if an agency has available sufficient federal funding from grants. State leaders in Congress have reacted with disappointment. Senator John Boozman said in a statement, in part, "I'm disappointed in the partisan political tactics that led here and share the frustration with the impact a shutdown will have on Arkansans and all Americans who rely on government services." In her memo, the governor said, "My administration will do everything in our power to keep the vital functions of government working." New tonight, recent tragedies are putting safety in churches at the forefront nationwide these days. Many congregations asking how to better protect themselves. And tonight, 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer shows us how one local class is helping church members prepare while still keeping their doors open to worship.
This is probably one of our best attended classes.
Safety in churches is top of mind now more than ever.
The Bible calls us to be watchmen on the wall, and we're to sound the warning, so to speak, if we see bad things fixing to happen.
Just this week, 4 people were killed in a shooting and a fire at a Michigan church. In August, 2 children lost their lives during a service in Minneapolis. These tragedies have many asking, what if?
We watch the door, but yet we're also watching the parking lot.
I've been trying to get every bit of training that I can.
These church members do all they can to keep their congregation safe, but in some cases, it's just not enough.
Most of them make themselves a really soft target, right? No guns, no this, no that.
It's why there was a packed house at the Protecting Your House of Worship class, hosted by the U.S. Concealed Carry Association.
It's just kind of getting the people pointed in the right direction and hopefully leading them towards more training.
They're learning how to identify potential threats, create an emergency plan, and how to respond if the unthinkable happens.
I hope that they get a really good starting point, like, hey, we need to do more in this area.
And it isn't just about having a plan on paper, it's putting things into practice.
Make sure you have a way to protect yourself, control access once service starts, have a way to communicate with somebody.
Anything for peace of mind in a place that's meant to bring these members peace.
I want our congregation to feel safe, to be able to come and worship the Lord. That's the way it should be.
In Tawnytown, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
At the same time, Fort Smith police put on their own active shooter training for the community. People in tonight's class had the chance to hear from a survivor of an active shooter situation. They also learned about how police respond to these situations. Officers went over the run, hide, fight method and other life-saving tips. Officer Bradley Williams says it's not a matter if it can happen, but when.
Hopefully with training, this is something that we can all be prepared for when it happens. That way the citizens of Fort Smith can be prepared to save their own lives.
Fort Smith Police hosting the same active shooter community response class the next 2 months at the end of each month. The department says you can register by visiting their Facebook page. A week-long multi-state drug trafficking operation aimed at bringing down a cartel leads to dozens of arrests here in Arkansas. Of the 47 arrests made this week by the New Orleans division of the DEA, Arkansas accounts for 27 of them. 7 of those were in Fort Smith, 2 made in Fayetteville, 16 happened in Little Rock. The DEA said the operation aimed to, quote, dismantle the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, a group designated as a foreign terrorist organization by the Trump administration in February. Washington County jury finds a man guilty of capital murder. We've been following the trial of Jason Dunnigan that began yesterday after multiple delays. Jury found him guilty in the 2021 murder of his wife, Amber. Jurors read the verdict this afternoon, then sentenced Dunnigan to life in prison. Digital evidence from Dunnigan's vehicle shown in court showed he was driving nearly 90 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone as he left the area where Amber was killed. A new Skyline report is out tonight showing Northwest Arkansas's housing market continues to grow at a very rapid pace. Report shows some home sales are strong, with prices continuing to climb in both Benton and Washington counties. More than a third of the homes sold were new builds. Demand for apartments also remains high. New units are filling quickly as rent is going up. Report also raises questions about the future, pointing to infrastructure as a challenge for communities trying to keep up with this growth. New at 10 tonight, one of the largest cross-country running events is happening in Fayetteville. The Chili Pepper Cross Country Festival starts this Friday at the U of A's cross-country course. This year, nearly 6,000 runners are competing. The event raises money for junior high and high school cross-country teams in Northwest Arkansas. The event gives anyone the chance to lace up and run. Executive Director Matt Down says it's a really unique opportunity for these runners.
It's like taking a free throw shot at Bud Walton Arena or kicking a field goal at Razorback Stadium. It's your chance this weekend to come run where the national championship Razorback cross-country team competes.
Parking for the festival is at the Washington County Fairgrounds. A free shuttle service, by the way, will take you to and from the race.